Hey there. I'm super happy you're here. You're listening to a podcast about stuff, and it's starting right now. Welcome to the Simple Midwest. What's up, everyone, and welcome to the Simple Midwest, episode 3. My name's Luke Carmichael. I'm your host, and today is a very special day. We have our first guest on the podcast. Let me introduce him. His beautiful name is ZACK TAYLOR. Welcome,
It's a
Zach.
good name. Thank you.
I'm so happy you're here.
Dude, this is great. I'm excited to be on a podcast.
I'm excited for you to be on a podcast. I feel kind of naked because I'm not wearing headphones, but
Yeah.
I think these are recording something.
We're just hearing each other's real voices.
Yeah, our real voices.
It's kind of scary.
Yeah, it is kind of scary. It's kind of scary. And we have a camera here chilling with us. So it's just me and Zach in my basement talking to each other about stuff. It's going to be a good time. So, as you all know, this podcast is new, and we kind of just been talking about random stuff the last 2 weeks. So today, I just thought I'd bring on one of my favorite childhood friends, who's now my adult friend, and we're going to talk about how we met. He's a musician, a very talented musician. So we're going to talk a little about music. And then one of our favorite things that we shared as kids was we loved Viva La Bam. We loved Jackass. We loved all those kinds of things. So we're going to talk about that.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. So anyways, let's get into it. Zach.
Yes.
Introduce yourself. Tell me about you.
I'm Zach. I share a name with a president, Zachary Taylor, which is the coolest thing about me.
That's awesome. I probably should know that there was a president.
No, you shouldn't. He's like he was probably like the 13th or 12th or something like that early on. But he only served for like a minute because he died in office, like eating berries.
Oh.
And they were dirty.
Dirty berries?
Yeah.
Did he die from the berries?
Yeah. He got like poisoned.
Oh my gosh.
Because they were dirty.
Wow.
So.
Okay,
that's the legacy of Zachary Taylor.
Well, we'll remember you as the president who died to the bad berries.
That's right.
Cool. Tell me more. Tell me what you like to do.
Yeah.
If you're married to anyone, if you have any kids,
I am married to someone. I'm married to a beautiful lady named Lauren, and we have a daughter on the way, which we're super excited about. Come May, she'll be here.
We'll have to get her on the podcast.
That would be awesome. She's a talker. I mean, I can already tell. Yeah, that's my life. I have dogs. I love music. I work at a church part-time, and I do the music for the church, but you know that.
Yeah, me and Zach actually work together at the church, which is super fun.
Yeah.
We sit so I do video and he does audio, and we sit about, 2 feet from each other?
Yeah.
So sometimes I'm like blaring music or blaring a video that I'm editing, and Zach's like making a song. It's not ideal, but it is fun. It is fun.
Yeah. It's like a balance of who can be louder, like which project is most important.
Yeah.
And then that person will get to use volume, and the other one will go to headphones and be constrained to that.
And the best part is we somehow know which person's thing is important. Some days I'll get the headphones out, and some days she'll get the headphones out. It just depends who does it first.
Right.
That's awesome. Well, cool. Well, I'm super happy you're here. I think we should tell the story about how we met first, so people get some context to how we know each other. Like, honestly, if you're listening right now, you probably have no freaking clue who either of us are. Maybe you know us. Maybe you know Zach. Maybe you don't know me.
Maybe.
So let's give you some context about our really interesting lives.
Context.
All right. So what year was it? It was in 7th grade.
Yeah. We were in 7th grade in 2005, maybe.
Okay.
Does that sound right?
Yeah, I think. Because 2001 was 9/11.
Right.
So I was in 3rd grade.
Yeah.
So 2002 would have been 4th grade. 2003 would have been 5th grade. So 2005?
Yeah.
All right. It was whenever...
I got ahead of you.
Yeah. It was whenever Fall Out Boy was big. My Chemical Romance.
They had just released Sugar We're Going Down.
Yes. Do you remember? Let me ask if you remember this when people would like say friction or whatever and rub their rub their leg on each other.
I don't think
You
so.
know?
I must have missed that.
It was at Jackson.
Really?
Yeah, so in 2005, we were what, 12, 13?
Yeah.
We're
Something like
kids.
that.
I went to Jackson Middle School, which is a school in, Ohio,
Yeah.
Grove City, Ohio. Everybody
They call
knows
it the prison
The
around town because it looks like a prison from the outside.
It does kind of look like a prison. And we both went there, and I don't know how, honestly don't know how we actually met, because I only had one friend. So in seventh grade, I had really long hair, and I wore really tight pants, and I was a skater.
Oh, yeah.
Skater. And I had one friend because he had a locker underneath me. His name was Cody Cash.
Mm-hmm.
And he also was like a punk, kind of like, I wasn't actually a punk. I just looked like one.
Yeah.
He also wasn't a punk either.
No.
He just looked like, he had wore them big pants.
We all just tried to look like punks for some reason.
But we weren't. We
No.
were like the good kids. We would pray before we ate lunch at the lunch table.
Yeah.
All of us.
That was our thing, you and me.
Yes. So I don't know if you remember, but I don't remember actually meeting you. Do you remember?
No, it's funny that you mentioned Cody because it was probably through him, was what I was going to guess.
Mm-hmm.
Somehow through a birthday party that he had. He always had some ball on birthday parties because he was the gamer.
Mm-hmm.
So it was always fun to go over there and play a bunch of video games and hang out and eat pizza and stuff. Those were the good days. Those were days that shaped who I am now.
I feel you.
But yeah, I just remember us being at the lunch table during lunch. We sat at the skater table, and I was not a skater. I was a poser, as they call it. I was straight up me and Scott Joyce.
Yeah.
I think we were the posers because we both sat there but hardly knew how to ride a skateboard. But I guess we thought that was cool, so that's where we sat for lunch. But yeah, I remember your long hair and your tight pants, and it was before people wore skinny jeans regularly.
Oh,
so
yeah.
you were the one dude wearing skinny jeans, and I'm sure you loved those
Oh, I
days
hated
of
it.
getting-
I got made fun of all the time because there's a bunch of middle schools in Grove City, and Jackson was known for having a bunch of athletes and jocks and all little
Preps.
Preps. That's what it
Yeah.
was. We'll tell the story about when you went undercover prep too. But the preps. Anyways, every day dudes would make fun of my pants, man. And then I actually transferred the next in 7th grade. I went to Jackson, and they changed the lines. And then in 8th grade, I went to Brook Park. At Brook Park, everyone wore tight pants because it was full
Nice.
of, the whole school felt like it was a skateboard.
Yeah.
Sounds like Allie's home.
Nice.
Everyone gets to hear Allie come home.
I hope Allie came home, or else you're getting robbed.
We're getting robbed right now. Anyways, so I wore tight pants. We were all skateboarders. Andy Bennett was the best skater. He
Oh,
had a
yeah.
skate park in his backyard.
He had a
Do you remember
bowl.
that? He had a bowl,
Big concrete bowl in his backyard.
which is insane. I remember always dying to go there. I wasn't one of the kids where my mom let me go everywhere I wanted all the time,
Mhm.
whereas other kids could just hang out at all times. And you lived in the neighborhood where all the kids lived,
Right.
Metagrove, so you probably had friends over all the time. But I remember just somehow we all got together. You know how it is in middle school, high school, whatever. Your cliques just form. So
Right.
we were all together in middle school, and we loved. It was the time of MTV was big. Viva La Bam was out. Room
Mhm.
Raiders was out. All the good stuff.
All MTV. That was all I would watch. Come home after school and turn on MTV, because it was that was my way of rebelling.
Yeah.
I didn't go out and get drunk and smoke cigarettes, behind the lockers. I just watched MTV
Yeah.
and grew my hair out, and I tried to treat my dad like Bam treated Phil, but he didn't stand for it. I'd get in a lot of trouble. I'd be like, "Oh, I'm sorry I did that."
Yeah.
So
And then you'd buy all the Viva La Bam album discs, or
Dude,
the DVDs uncensored.
I have all of them, and yeah, uncensored.
That's where you
where
were.
it was at.
Yeah.
because I didn't cuss personally, but to hear other people cuss, hardcore rebellion.
Hardcore. You hear other people cuss? That's it.
Yep.
That's hilarious. And then, so like, I'm a filmmaker now, and I would consider you definitely a filmmaker. I'd call you an indie filmmaker if I was going to call you anything.
Yeah.
Because you made videos way before I ever made any videos or cared about what videos were.
Right.
You've been making videos since you were like a little kid.
Right.
Tell me about videos. What you love movies? Why do you love that stuff?
Dude, I don't know. I think it probably had to start when I was little, because when all my friends like in daycare were watching like Barney, I was watching the Tim Burton Batman movies. And that's probably why I have such a weird, like, dark sense of humor and stuff, because from an early age I watched these dark Tim Burton movies. But I would have to say that's where it started. And like, there was this Batmobile that was at a grocery store where my dad would work sometimes, and I would beg him to take me with him, and I would dress as Batman and go to that grocery store and like run through the doors to the Batmobile to like be Batman.
Man, that's amazing.
They like put the quarter in the machine and ride the Batmobile dressed as Batman. I thought I was the stuff. But I'm also an only child, which probably helped too, like having to kind of use my imagination a little more than just having like a brother to punch in the head. Then I have to make up a person to punch in the head. So I think between, seeing cool movies at a really early age mixed with having to use my imagination more, I think that kind of shaped me as like a storyteller in general, whether that comes through like video or songwriting, whatever it is. That's it.
Dude, that's awesome. Well, you made some funny stuff growing up.
Yeah, man. I mean, Banana Cannon Pictures.
Yes, that's his company.
Yeah.
If you want to say, or him and his friend's company. How did that start? Tell me about that. Tell me about the shorts, what your favorite short was.
Okay. Yeah. I know everyone is dying to know this stuff.
This is important stuff in the world, okay?
Yeah.
Banana Cannon, it's going to be big one day.
I'll tell you what, there's got to be so many undiscovered talents out there on YouTube, because I think we were good storytellers. We didn't know how to work a camera, so all of our videos are garbage. But I think we had actually really good like material in the videos. But yeah, I started in, I guess, 5th or 6th grade with just like one of those little camcorders, and we would record videos, and we called them Norendo. It was kind of the same thing based on like Jackass. It was like shorts, and they were all titled under this name, which we chose Norendo because it was a made-up word. I don't know how we came up with it.
You saying that brings back so many memories of just
Norendo.
You guys talking about the original Norendo that no one knew about but you guys, and I would always be like, man, because I was never allowed to go to anyone's house, like I said. So I never really knew what they were doing.
Well, there's only one copy of those too. It's not like YouTube where you upload it for the whole world to see. It was like you film them and then you put them onto the thing, and they're recorded onto a VHS tape.
Yeah.
So anytime we wanted to like rewatch those shorts that we did, I'd have to go to the guy's house who had the tape and pop it in and watch it there. But yeah, we did that in like intermediate school, like 5th, 6th grade. And then when we got to middle school, I don't know how kids do school around the country, but here in Ohio we had an intermediate and then middle school broken up. And yeah, then that's when I met Colin Hopkins, who was monumental in that gap between intermediate school, middle school videos, and watching them on tapes to the next level. Because Colin and his friends, before we really knew each other very well, they had made a couple videos and put them on YouTube.
Whoa, YouTube.
And us Norendo fellas in the slums would watch YouTube and see their videos and be like, oh my gosh, we gotta hook up with them, because we got to take the next step and get in front of the world. So we made a video with Colin and his dudes, who I don't think that they had like a name like Norendo. I can't remember, but it was like the week before our freshman year of high school. We all got together and made a video, and it was this really strange video of like kids on a field trip, and one of them like snapped and started like one by one silently killing off the other one in a comedic way. It sounds so morbid.
This is not like a horror film.
It was straight comedy. It was like the goofiest video you could ever see. I think it's still on YouTube somewhere. I'll have to check.
Oh man,
I'll have to look at that.
We gotta find those.
But that was like the first one we did. It was called Insane Half Brains. So that was weird. But my favorite, I would say, we did a couple years later. We were in high school, and it was called Cool Kids, and it was like a 2-part video. It was probably like 15 minutes total. And golly, I love that video. It's just like, it's about these kids in high school. So it was about us. And they're not super popular. They're into like lair, like they go play like the fake, swords and stuff like that. And they want to like throw a party and get everyone in the school to come and like basically rise in the chain of popularity and become cool kids.
Yeah.
And that was one of the only videos that we made that wasn't like so much like, I don't know what we're doing, let's put a gun in here and everyone will die or there'll be an explosion and that's how we'll end the video. It was more like thought out. We had witty dialogue. I loved that video. I need to go watch it.
I need to watch that. I want to watch all this stuff.
Yeah.
So what did that turn into? So you started on VHS tapes basically, which I know that because I filmed like one, I think, with these guys, and
yeah,
I don't even know, like, it doesn't work anymore because it's on like one of those mini DVDs.
It was when they changed from the tapes to DVDs, like the little tiny ones.
Yeah, like the mini DVDs or whatever. And
as soon as you record on it, it's simultaneously scratching the disc up. So when you go to play it back, it doesn't work. It would like play one frame and then another frame and then it's the end of the video. So we didn't even get to see our creation really. We just only have our memories.
That probably makes you jealous, like, because kids these days, like every kid wants to be a YouTuber or whatever.
Oh, sure.
And they'll ask, because I've been listening to a bunch of Rab himself, who's from Viva La Bam, talking. Right. He was just talking on a podcast with one of the guys from Too Stupid to Die, which is one of their new shows.
Okay.
It's like Viva La Bam or Jackass, but like in 2019.
Yeah.
And he was saying, the one guy was like, everyone's always like, the kids are like, did you guys have your Viva La Bam or CKY videos like on like YouTube? And like, no, and we don't want them on YouTube now. People are stealing them. They're like, only way you could buy them is at underground skate shops.
Right.
And that's kind of like, how do you feel about that? With like, what would it have been like if you could have been putting all of these videos on YouTube, like, from the get-go? Because I remember seeing them on YouTube like when YouTube started, like whenever it was like old and looked junky and people barely used it.
Right. I don't know. I feel like those early videos that are on tapes, I would be really embarrassed if they were on YouTube because it was the first time we ever had access to a video camera and we made the dumbest, childish stuff ever. And it wouldn't be funny to anyone, probably even myself at this point.
Because you were like 11 or 10-year-olds.
Right. Right. But, man, the way that media has changed and, like, inhaling media, you just open YouTube and watch a video. And, like, if a kid wants to make a YouTube channel, you literally just start it, record yourself on your phone, and upload it to YouTube in 5 minutes. And then they have a YouTube channel. Mm-hmm. And I think, I don't know. I like the idea of being like analog. Like when I'm making music, I want like an analog board in front of me with, analog knobs that I can twist and turn all the stuff and move the faders. Mm-hmm. And part of me feels that way about like those old videos too. Yeah. Like they were hours, and if you wanted to see them, then you'd have to get permission from us. Like we'd have to give you the tape. Mm-hmm. I remember when we did like Norendo. That was the first tape.
Yeah.
Then like a year later we did Norendo 2, which was like 3 hours long, if you remember.
Yeah.
I think we watched that at Cody Cash's house.
Yeah, it was 3 hours long.
Cody Cash might still have that tape.
We should find out.
I think he's the last one that I need to get in touch with him. Because
he's a little different than he was in middle school.
Yeah.
So we might have to find him.
I haven't talked to him, but I think he's the last person that had the tape, because I remember watching it over there once. But and then the third one we came out with was called Crazy Nights of McCheeseport. And the wonderful genius Colin Randall came up with that, Crazy Nights of McCheeseport. And it was ridiculous. It was the same thing. It was just shorts all compiled into one tape. But I remember we put time behind, like, after we made it, we hyped it up, told all of our friends, like, hey, we finished Crazy Nights of McCheeseport. You got to watch it. And it became like this event. Like, people would, our friends from school, we'd all get together and watch this tape. And it was hilarious because we all knew each other. And I remember me and Colin rode our bikes to Blockbuster when that was still a thing. And we went in and he was like, do you guys have Crazy Nights at McCheeseport? Trying to somehow weasel our way into getting the tape in Blockbuster.
Yeah.
So people could rent Crazy Nights at McCheeseport and be like, what is this? And
That's
take it out and throw it in the trash.
It's like those, it's like on All That, when they would do those skits where the people would go to that fake Blockbuster. Do you remember what I'm talking about?
I do remember that. Oh my gosh.
And he'd be like, I ordered Rugrats or something, and this isn't Rugrats. And oh no, they were from a different country,
right.
Oh no, that's Bug Rats.
Right.
There's bugs, and it's just like a video of them. It'd be something like that.
All that. That's awesome. All that's coming back.
I heard about that. My dad just texted me 2 days ago. It was out of the blue, hey, did you know All That's coming back?
Yeah. Man, it's funny that our parents listened to all the dumb things that we were into as kids.
Yeah.
Because now that we're out of the house, they're like, oh,
what do we do?
All That is back.
That brings me back.
Why are you telling me about All That?
Because my dad likes to watch Netflix, so he's probably just chilling and saw it on. It's probably going to be on Netflix. Well, no, he said Nick's bringing it back, so they're just trying to figure out how to do something, I guess.
We'll see.
But all right, so you did all that. You were a filmmaker. You made all kinds of cool videos, all the way up until when's the last time you made one?
Not long ago. We made one maybe a year ago.
Okay.
Maybe a little over a year ago. Yeah.
And surprisingly, I as close of friends as I am with Zach, I've literally only been in one of the videos. I've never helped with any of them.
Yeah.
Because they don't like me. I'm just kidding.
It's not that. It's probably because you went to Brook Park.
It's because I went to Brook Park.
There is a separation.
Yeah, I went to Brook Park, and then they didn't like me because I smelled funny. I'm just kidding. No, like I said, it was always I was busy playing soccer or in college, or
that's what
my mom didn't let me go. Or if you're listening to this, Mom, I'm not saying that you didn't let me go anywhere. It's just maybe it was a first kid thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
And
that makes sense.
And I want to help make one so bad eventually.
Yeah.
Really bad. We could use this camera.
Let's do it. We just the stars have to align. That's why
we have to all be available because you have all your friends that are part of this. It's not just Zach.
Right.
He's got a bunch of dudes that are hilarious that make this happen.
Right. And they're all over the place now. And they have careers like Adam, who I think is the funniest dude I've ever known. And he is a pharmacist.
Yeah. You would never know.
And what wasted opportunity, He could have been anything. And he chose to be a pharmacist. It's a real shame, Adam. It's a shame.
I hope you're listening, Adam. You should have been in the movies.
I'm just disappointed. Pharmacy, come on. But the last time we made one over a year ago, whenever it was literally just Christmas break or something, and everyone was home visiting family because Colin lives in New York. Eli, one of our other friends, he lives in Detroit, so everyone's just scattered. So the stars have to perfectly align. And when they do, I can't even imagine. We're going to make something crazy.
It's going to be crazy.
It's always unscripted.
We're going to get abs from laughing so hard.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to have a 9-pack.
9-pack.
Yeah. There's going to be one extra one.
That's sick. So that was a fun part of childhood. I always remember that kind of time because you made me laugh constantly. Because Zach's a really funny person. Like, you guys don't understand how funny he is. And at the same time that we would hang out, I feel like Zach always had a guitar in his hand. Like, no matter what, I'd be playing video games, we'd be watching a movie. He'd always have a guitar in his hand just playing music. And I was always blown away because the dude, like, taught himself how to do all this stuff. So tell me about what got you into music. And then also we'll talk about, so I don't know if any of you have heard of this band, but there's a band called Fever Fever. And Zach's a part of that band. He's a member or whatever you call bands.
Oh yeah.
So
I remember.
tell me about music. And music's interesting to me because I have a different view of music, but I want to hear what it's like in the brain of an actual musician.
Yeah. Well, where to begin? I know where to begin. There's an old Disney Channel original movie called Xenon.
No.
Girl of the 21st Century. You're familiar with it?
Yeah, of course
okay.
I am.
So zoom. That's it. My earliest memory of like a rock star persona was that movie would play on TV just at random times. I would catch it, somewhere in the middle, and I'd think, yes, Xenon. And my mom had this like old wooden antique paddle that like hung on the wall in the kitchen. And when we'd get to the end of that movie, when what's his name does the concert, I don't know what that guy's name was.
I don't know. I just know he had
spiky hair,
spiky blonde,
and like
tips.
a long,
silvery
like, overcoat.
Yeah.
And he put on the concert and sang "Zoom, Zoom, Zoom." I would run in and grab that paddle off the wall, and I'd go back into the room where the TV was and jump on the couch, and I would pretend to play the paddle like a guitar, like I was that guy doing "Zoom, Zoom, Zoom," and I would like do all of his motions. And I had a friend over once, and he wasn't as weird as me, so he was just like trying to like play with Legos or something that a normal boy would do, and I was trying to do the rock concert, and I actually yelled at him. I was like, "You got to take this seriously. Like, if we're gonna be good, you got to take this seriously." Like, I was mad that he wasn't performing with me. And I've always been that way for some reason. Even when we make stupid videos or whatever, there's still a part of me that's like, all right, guys, come on. Next shot. Nope, do that again. Do it over. You did it wrong. When everyone else is just like having fun. There's a part of me that comes out that's very like dictator, directorial. That's like, nope, cut, do it again. But that would be my earliest memory of music. Flash forward probably like middle school. My friend Matt Papik, he was really into music like alternative rock and stuff. And I grew up kind of in the hood a little bit. And all of my neighbors introduced me to like Eminem and Outkast. And I think before I met Matt, that was kind of what I listened to, was like rap, pop. So Matt introduced me to this whole new world of music. He showed me like Green Day and Red Hot Chili Peppers and System of a Down. They were my favorite for a long time. And kind of him and me together started like writing goofy songs, like song lyrics. And then we kind of learned to play guitar around the same time, lessons here and there and teaching ourselves. He has a really good ear for music. So from that, I also started playing in my church's like youth band. My youth pastor got me involved in that as a way to keep me coming to youth group. And that was my first like exposure to like playing with a band, was just like playing in the youth band. And the guys that I played with in that band, we said we should make a rock band. Like, I think any kid growing up that played any instrument ever probably, had dreams to do like, let's make a rock band. Yeah. Can't be that hard. We'll go on the road.
So I dreamed about it. I did have dreams that I was like the lead singer of a band, but
the screamer.
Never happened. Yeah, that's 100% true. Like,
you love screamo.
A metal concert at a middle school, and everybody's like, "Oh my gosh, it's perfect." No, everybody'd be disgusted.
Right. But yeah, we started making music together and wrote like original songs, and that was called Permeation. We started that in like my sophomore year or something.
Mm-hmm.
And I still to this day kind of use that as like my outlet for like solo, rockin' music.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's where it started, and man, I just fell in love with music and didn't stop playing music, whether it was in a band or by myself with an acoustic and my little 2-track recorder. I loved writing music and I loved recording it. So I don't foresee ever not making music,
Yeah.
till I die or my fingers fall off.
Yeah. Well, you're great at music. So you've got to witness both sides. You've got to witness like the secular side of being in a band that travels all across the country and is popular and has songs in airplanes and songs that are all over the radio, as well as the non-secular side of working in a church. And if you're a listener and you don't know what secular is and non-secular, I think it's just a term for the world of non-Christianity and the world of Christianity.
It's got to be a Christian term.
Yeah.
Because it's anything that's not Christian music.
Yeah.
It's anything that's not religious, I guess.
Yeah. So he's got to be in the world of non-religious music, and he's also got to be in the world of working in a church, because you currently work at a church and you are the leader of our band.
Yeah.
So you've got to see both sides. Tell me about what it's like to be in the secular world, like the world of just traveling. Basically, tell me about Fever.
Yeah.
I know I'm always really impressed because you're in a good band. Like, it's a sweet band with great music. So tell me about it.
I love the music too. I listen to it. Like, I don't know if that's not what you're supposed to do. Like, if you have a band, you're not supposed to listen to your own music, but I'll listen to it every now and then. I'll like pull up some old songs and listen to them, and that's cool because you get to hear them, and you also know like the story behind the song and the experience of recording the song, lots of cool stuff like that. So I'm a fan of Fever as well as the drummer. But as far as the differential between secular and Christian, I think we kind of blurred the lines. And I want to say we did that better than a lot of Christian rock bands did, because we played wherever people would have us. We didn't like just play at youth groups, which we did. We played our fair share youth groups, but we'd play in bars, we'd play in, random venues or coffee houses or like house shows in the middle of like a, college party. So we played anywhere, and that was kind of our goal. Our goal was never to be like secluded into Christian circles, because basically as Christians, I'm a believer, and as a Christian, that's not what we're called to do, is to just hide from the world and be in our Christian circles like weird youth group kids. So I think collectively all of us, as we were traveling, that was kind of our intention, was to show secular areas what having love like Jesus was actually about. So sorry, I didn't mean to turn it into
I love this.
A sermon,
keep going.
but
keep going. This is what I want to hear.
Yeah, that was always a cool experience, to be able to go into like bars and play shows and then have people come up and talk to us afterwards and be like, that was awesome, and get to just tell them our story. And we had really cool experiences doing that all over the country.
Yeah.
All over a couple countries. We went into Mexico a couple times.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Sweet. Well, you are a really incredible musician, and I'm very thankful that I know you. I like to brag about you to people, so hopefully that doesn't bother you.
I brag about people. Or no, I don't
you.
brag about people. I brag about you to people.
Don't do that.
I
There's
do.
nothing to brag about.
I do.
I'm just a guy with a face.
I just said the other day, and I honestly don't remember who I was talking to. Now I do. After I said that, it was someone I work with at Starbucks. I told them that, like, your company, ALC, is honestly like the best in Columbus.
Oh, thank you.
So, and I mean it. I don't think it was someone looking for a wedding videographer. I don't know how it came up.
Just video
But
somehow.
I just talk about you whenever I can.
Thanks.
I'm like your grandma.
Dude, you're my favorite grandma.
Thanks. I think I'd be a good grandma.
You're the prettiest grandma, too. I'll tell you what.
Thanks.
And look at those dimples. Everybody,
Yep.
look at him.
Everyone loves the dimples.
They're beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, I'm so happy you're here. So we're winding down on time. Let's chat a little bit. I wanted to chat really bad a little bit about one of the shows that we bonded. Like one of the reasons I think we originally bonded, which was the show Viva La Bam.
That's right.
We watched that show together all the time. We talked about that show. It got us into wanting to play video games with skateboarding, like Tony Hawk's Underground 2. We played that because Bam was in it. American Wasteland.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Zach got American Wasteland before me, and I still remember this day at lunch asking him about it every day because I knew I was going to get it for my birthday.
Right.
And I would sit there and ask him like, "Hey, tell me what it's like when you like go in between those zones." It was like the first one where there was no loading zones. I was like, "Tell me about."
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah.
You just go from one city to the next, and it doesn't go to a loading screen.
Yeah. So we loved Viva La Bam. Like, Zach can do a Don Vito impression like no other. He can do Bam impressions. Like, we would watch Viva La Bam like it was no one's business.
Yep. Yo! You ain't got no tiddly, just jubble! Can't take no hammer there, hammer, some expect to grow out of the ground, you nuts? That was Don Vito.
Pistachio.
Pistachio ice cream. You told me when you asked me if I wanted to do the podcast, you told me that you wanted me to do impressions, and that made me really nervous. Because whenever someone tells me to do an impression that I'm good at, the pressure's on, I cannot do the impression. It's like the worst impression you've ever heard.
Yeah.
And then they're like, "Oh, sorry, everyone. I thought he
was
did a good impression." He's a joke.
Zach's so good at impressions. That's why I haven't said anything yet, because you had said you'd be nervous.
Yeah.
Like, so good at impressions. Like, impressions of our friends, impressions of famous people, impressions of anyone. Like, it's impressive.
Yeah.
Like, he just did Don Vito. The Don Vito one's funny, because he always did Don Vito, and I would die laughing. Like, for hours I could laugh, because he'd be doing Don Vito like it was no one's business. Because Don Vito, like, in Viva La Bam... And if you've never watched this, or you're a kid, or I don't know why a kid would be listening to this, but if you are, you don't know that Don Vito is ridiculous. He's dead now. He was a horrible person, so it's not. Yeah. We're not gonna say rest in peace, Don Vito. He wasn't probably not. Didn't he go to jail for like sexually assaulting a girl or something like that?
Yeah, I don't know the whole story.
We're not gonna recommend Don Vito to anyone, but he was a gross, fat old dude who was Bam's uncle that they made fun of, and
he was always the punchline in Bam's jokes. He destroyed like 12 of his cars or something. Kept having to buy new cars, and he would destroy them. Yeah,
and whenever he would start yelling and getting crazy, they would put subtitles for what he was saying. But eventually the subtitles would just be like just random
Yobel Hibbly Abadi dude.
Yeah.
Because the person writing the subtitles was like, I have no idea what he's saying. So they just typed out what they heard.
Yeah.
I loved it.
I think that show was like... So, why I want to ask why you liked it. I'm going to give you my reason why I liked it. I don't know why I liked it so much, because I was like a clean-cut kid. I was scared to cuss. I didn't want to like go jump off stuff. I skateboarded, but I was pretty careful about how I skateboarded. My mom used to make me wear a helmet. I was a helmet kid.
Helmet kid.
Yeah. And... like... But I loved that show.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was.
Man.
What it was about Bam. Like,
right. I think, for me at least, like I said earlier, like, I wasn't rebellious. I wasn't a rebellious kid. I was always, like, by the books and raised in church. And my parents raised me really well. And Bam Margera, growing up for our generation... he was like that outlet. He was like, you're clean cut, sit down in front of the couch and turn on Viva La Bam. And vicariously, you can live all of that rambunctious nonsense through Bam.
Mm-hmm.
So you can just like go into his shoes for 30 minutes every episode and watch him, beat up his dad, punch him and everything, and put meat in his toothpaste. Watch him brush his teeth with meat.
Put hamburgers on all shirts.
Right. All this stuff like this, and skate without a helmet. I bet that was probably pretty cool for you.
Yeah, skating without a helmet, skating like with your friends
Yeah.
without any parents around.
And like
because we
going
were
to-
like kids when this was out.
Right.
We weren't like allowed to do stuff by ourselves.
Yeah.
Well, you probably were, but
Not really.
we were
Probably
like,
not much more than you.
yeah, it was like we could hang out with our friends outside, but these dudes are like traveling, going to Skatopia. you know,
Yeah.
the spring break episodes, like all that kind of stuff.
Right. And they would just go find cool places to skate across the world.
Yeah.
I thought that was always really cool. Like they're skating in Brazil, and they'd go to, this and that. What's that place that's like a dump?
That was Skatopia.
Skatopia.
It's like disgusting and
Yeah, people like die there. And,
yeah.
Yeah.
I know, and that's close to Ohio, I'm pretty sure.
Is it really?
Yeah. I don't know if it's still a place, but it's close to Ohio. I was going to say, like, I miss the culture of what skateboarding and, like, that cult. Like, that stuff was bad, but it was also, like, not as raunchy as stuff would probably be now. You know what I mean? Like, the stuff was cussed at, blurred out, and there was pretty messed up stuff, but it was also, like, that was exactly what you said, I think, is why I liked it, because I knew I wasn't supposed to do bad stuff, and I didn't want to do bad stuff.
Yeah.
But I liked being, like, I liked to watch the show because I was like, ooh, I'm a bad boy for 30 minutes.
Exactly.
And then we'd fake do stuff, like pretend to be Bam and skate around. I don't know.
I would always pretend to be Bam. I even talked like Bam.
Yeah, you were good at talking like
Grew
Bam.
my hair out, and I got Bam's shoes.
Yeah. Oh,
That
man.
had the
getting
heartogram
Bam's
that he
shoes.
stole.
I remember those. Yeah. Bam
We
was
just
like
watched
known
that
for that.
documentary.
Yeah, Bam has a heartogram that's like his logo. It's actually him's logo. He thought it was cool, so he started using it on his stuff, but he was more popular than him.
Right.
So then everyone used it for Bam, but it was actually...
I can't imagine. I guess they're friends, like him and the singer, Billy Vallow.
Yeah.
Is that his name?
Yeah, in that documentary, that's what... So Bam's alcoholic, and a lot of the reasoning his mom thinks is because of the lead singer of him, because he just drinks constantly.
Yeah. Yeah, it's easy to do with that lifestyle.
Yeah, that's the funny part is... I think the way that we did it was good because we watched that show and we liked it and it was great and it was like edgy for the time, but we just kept being like normal people instead of that.
Right.
And I've like been listening to these podcasts and watching like these dudes are either dead or they were alcoholics and they're finally like sobering up, or they're on feeding bags because their junk doesn't work because they got hit in the balls so many times, like all that kind of stuff.
Crazy stuff.
Or they're like, half of them were like super addicted to drugs while we were watching that show.
Yeah.
And we just didn't know it because we didn't know what drugs were.
Oh my gosh. It probably, going back and watching those episodes, it'll probably make me sad because you realize how messed up they all are.
Yes.
But yeah, I feel like they took one for the team. They did that for us.
They did that for us.
So we didn't have to.
Yeah. Yeah. What a time. What a time to be alive. So, yeah, we've had a good friendship, and basically we just stayed connected throughout life, and now we work together.
Yeah.
And make stuff together, which is sweet. And now we're talking on a podcast together.
It's really interesting how life works, because we knew each other in middle school, stayed close in high school, kind of drifted apart in the college days. You went to Muskingum and I started traveling with a band. But then you had your radio show and you invited our band to Muskingum, and something weird happened where it was going to be outside at a thing and then it wasn't. And there was like you and one other person there.
Yeah.
And we played our hearts out.
You did.
For you
With
and
no
one
mics.
other person. Yeah, no mics, no sound system. Just up there with a impromptu acoustic concert, and then we left. That was the first show of our tour, and I remember we got in the van
tour
after that. Yeah, we had to drive to our like host home that was in another state after that, and we were just like, all right, let's do this tour. Played to a total of 5 people.
Starting off with a banger at Muskingum University. What a place.
Can only go down from here.
Oh yeah. I'm sure it got really much better.
Yeah, I remember that being a pretty cool tour. I think we went out to like New England.
Oh, that's awesome.
Played a bunch of cool shows out there.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I want to finish this with one last story. And I want to talk about the time in 7th grade when you went undercover as a prep.
Oh, for sure.
I want you to tell that story.
That's the good stuff. Oh, man.
And talk about
That
Xanga.
story. Xanga, or Xanga, however you
I
pronounce
wasn't
it.
a Xanga.
I was a Zanga.
Okay.
Zanga was.
What was your
really
username,
cool.
real quick?
I don't know.
Mine was LucasCool24.
Man, I think for as long as I've had any sort of online profile, it's been some form of ZW Taylor.
Yeah.
From what I can recall. I could be wrong. I am wrong. I think it was Zack Attack.
Zack Attack.
Yeah, I think it was Zack Attack with an exclamation point.
I think that might be right. That kind of sounds familiar.
I think that
Did you
was
have a
it.
Vulcan background? Because that's what I had.
I changed it a lot.
Okay.
Like weekly.
Yeah.
Like my layout.
Yeah.
That's what they called it at Zanga.
I think they were layouts. They were like CCS or
It's coding.
coding that
Yeah.
we were like copy and pasting.
I was Morpheus from the Matrix. I got to go in and write code and make my website. But yeah, I made that like how like modern day, social media workers like schedule out their posts and everything. Like,
Yeah.
I was already looking at the next week's layout, what it was going to be. I was doing my research through the internet, going, that one's cool. I'm using that one next, and I'd have the code ready to copy and paste into my coding for my next layout. But anyways, what was the question?
The question.
Oh,
When you decided
prep.
to go undercover
As a prep.
Because it was like preps versus skaters in middle school.
Yeah.
And preps were kids that wore Abercrombie and Fitch and Hollister at the time.
Right. Yeah, I remember I wore like strictly PacSun because they sold...
you always wore Curve too. I always remember you smelling like Curve cologne.
Yeah. They had Curve and Vert.
Oh, no, you wore Vert. That's what I meant.
Yeah.
Vert's
you
not
might have
good.
worn Curve.
I think
Somebody
I
else
got
wore it.
Curve because you had Vert and I thought it was Curve.
Okay. I had the green one.
That
That's
one
all I know.
smelled so good. I
Still have that.
Is it still at your house?
There's like 4 pumps left, and I'm just saving it.
Saving it for a rainy day.
Saving it for the rainiest of days. I'm gonna spray that on and go skateboard.
With your BAM shoes on.
With my
And
BAM
your
shoes.
zero jacket, your zero striped.
Yeah, my
zip-ups.
purple
Yeah.
and black striped one. It had the detachable hood.
Yep. Oh yeah, we both had that same one. That was the Jamie Thomas hood.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. Anyways, I only wore whatever PacSun's brand was at the time, and then all the like more popular. I don't even know. I mean, I think cliques at our school, we made up in our minds a little bit, and then they became cliques. Like they didn't have to be.
Yeah.
There didn't have to be those borders. Because I remember in high school getting along really well with people that were like the popular kids.
Yeah.
But for some reason in middle school, like we knew our place and we didn't go outside of that place. You didn't talk to, the skaters didn't talk to the popular kids. Maybe we'd talk to like a gamer at the other table.
Yeah.
If they showered. But they were always the really stinky ones. But I remember we were sitting at our table, and one day during lunch, sitting at our round skater lunch table, and it's off to the side, and all the preps sat at the long tables in the middle.
Yeah.
And I was just like looking over there, and I'm thinking like, what is this like gap in between us that we don't coexist? Like we're over here, they're over there. Our paths do not cross. We do not say hi. We pass each other all day in the hallway, and we go to class together, but we don't speak. And I thought, what started out as like just a joke, just being funny, was my post on Zanga that day. It was like, this Friday, I'm going undercover as a prep. And it was like this
You
big
let
thing.
everyone know online.
Right. Online, all the people who I'm going undercover to just read that I'm going undercover with them. But I had like an Aeropostale polo.
Yeah.
And I wore it that day. I wore the collar pop.
I remember.
And I sat at that long table with all the popular kids. And I honestly don't remember what happened. I don't remember if they were like, what are you doing here? Or if they were just like, hey, I don't remember. I might have blocked it out in my head because it was too traumatic. Because I was so nervous about it. But I worked it up for sure.
You really did it. I remember being at lunch looking like, guys, he's over there.
He's over there.
He's over there. What do we do?
What do you think they're talking about? You think he'll ever come back? I see you guys in the hallway the next day, and I'm like, skaters, bunch of losers.
Losers, look at those tight pants. Get out of here, you idiot.
Yeah. But those are like the years, middle school. That's when you decide, like, if you're gonna be a skater or like the popular kid. Like, you decide,
Yeah.
and then you become that throughout high school. So those are like important years, and I think on some subconscious level that's smarter than I actually am, I was trying to break down those borders between all these different cliques that existed.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you did it. You broke down some barriers because
man.
there's no more clicks
Broke 'em.
because of that
There
year.
are no cliques.
2005, the year.
No cliques in the whole world.
Nope.
Because I broke down walls. I didn't build up walls. Take that, Donald Trump.
Zach. Well, guys.
Do you want to have a political podcast?
Yeah, let's talk about what you think about politics.
Politics, are a necessity of life.
Yeah, there's a thing that rhymes with monoliths, and it's called politics. And
I like
that's what
that.
they are.
Okay, let's not talk about that anymore.
You got it. Well, guys, that's all the time we have. This was a fun first guest episode. I'm like really happy you came on here.
Dude, I'm honored to be your first guest.
You're the first guest.
I don't know if I'm the most worthy to be first guest.
Don't say that.
But I love this Simple Midwest podcast you're doing.
Thanks.
I've watched your first 2 episodes, and I'm going to watch this one too and
Good.
go, why'd I do that?
Zach doesn't like to see himself, so you're not going to like it. But I'm going to love it.
It's okay.
And I'm going to watch it because I'm going to edit it. And then I probably won't watch it after that because I'm living it.
Right.
But thank you so much, man, for coming on. We'll have to have you on again.
Absolutely.
We're just talking about simple stuff, and we're in the Midwest, so we're just gonna keep that rolling.
I like that.
And yeah, dude, where can people follow you on the internet if they want to, or if you want them to follow you on the internet?
Yeah, I got like Twitter and Instagram at ZW Taylor, and my music project's happening. Our band at church, we strive to be more than just like a church worship band. So we're called Covenant Music, and we have a new single releasing. I don't know when this will come out, but it's coming out on the 1st of March. So this Friday, I guess. And we're really excited about that. It's called Black Heart. And then my other band, Fever Fever, feverfever.com. You can check out tour dates that aren't in existence right now, but we're not done yet, so.
Nope. You ain't done. Sick, dude.
Be checking in there.
Sick. Well, I love you, and I love all you beautiful people who are listening / watching. Give Zach some love in the comments wherever you're listening / watching this, and I love all of you. I'll see you guys next week. Peace.